Linda a class. Kevin visits the library. Kevin just moved to a new city. He wants to find a quiet place to study. His neighbor says, "You should go to the public library. It's free and very nice." Kevin says, "Great. I'll go today." Kevin walks to the library. It's big and quiet. At the entrance, he sees a sign that says "Welcome to the City Library." He goes to the front desk and says, "Hi, I'm new here. Can I get a library card?" The librarian smiles and says, "Of course. Please show me your ID and proof of address." Kevin shows his driver's license and a utility bill. The librarian types on the computer and says, "Okay, here's your card. You can borrow books, use computers, and print documents." Kevin asks, "How many books can I borrow?" The librarian says, "You can borrow up to 10 books at one time." Kevin asks, "How long can I keep them?" She says, "You can keep them for 3 weeks. After that, you can return or renew them." Kevin walks around the library. He sees books, magazines, DVDs, and computers. He finds the English learning section. He is happy. He picks 2 grammar books and 1 storybook. He also finds a quiet table and studies for 1 hour. Before he leaves, he goes to the self-checkout machine. He scans his library card and the books. The screen says, "Books checked out. Due in 3 weeks." He puts the books in his backpack. On the way out, he sees a sign that says, "Free English class every Saturday at 2 p.m. Kevin smiles and says, "I'll come back this weekend." Lisa goes to the police station. Lisa can't find her wallet. She looked everywhere but it's gone. It has her ID, bank cards, and some cash. She thinks she lost it at the park. Lisa walks to the nearest police station. She goes to the front desk. A police officer says, "Good morning. How can I help you?" Lisa says, "I lost my wallet yesterday. I think I dropped it at the park." The officer says, "Okay, let's make a report. What does your wallet look like?" Lisa says, "It's black leather with a zipper. It has my driver's license and 2 bank cards inside." The officer asks, "Do you remember what time you lost it?" Lisa says, "Around 3 p.m. I was sitting on a bench and I think it fell out of my bag." The officer writes everything down and gives her a copy of the report. He says, "If someone brings it in, we will call you." Lisa asks, "Do I need to cancel my cards?" The officer says, "Yes, Call your bank right away to stop any transactions. Lisa nods and says, Okay. Thank you so much. Before she leaves, the officer says, Don't worry. People sometimes bring lost items here. Lisa smiles and says, I hope so. Thanks again. Maria takes the bus for the first time. Maria moved to the U.S. last month. She doesn't have a car yet. She needs to go to the supermarket today. It's too far to walk, so she decides to take the bus. She asks her neighbor, How do I take the bus? Her neighbor says, There's a bus stop on the corner. You need exact change or a bus card. Maria says, Thank you. I have some coins. Maria walks to the bus stop. She sees a sign with the bus number and schedule. The sign says, Bus 22, every 30 minutes. She waits at the bench. After 10 minutes, the bus arrives. The door opens. Maria steps in. The driver says, Good morning. Maria says, Hi. I'm going to the supermarket. The driver nods and says, That's on this route. The fare is $1.50. Maria puts coins in the fare box. The machine beeps. The driver gives her a transfer ticket and says, You can use this within 2 hours. Maria says, Thank you. She finds a seat near the window. She sees schools, houses, and parks along the way. A screen shows the next stop, Main Street. A voice also says, Next stop, Main Street. Maria wonders, How do I know where to get off? She looks at the route map on the wall. She also asks another passenger, Excuse me, is the supermarket near Main Street? The passenger smiles and says, Yes. Get off at the next stop. When the bus stops, Maria presses the yellow strip to request a stop. The bus slows down and stops. She gets off and says, Thank you, to the driver. She sees the supermarket across the street. She's happy. She says to herself, I can take the bus by myself now. David applies for social services. David moved to the U.S. 6 months ago. He works part-time, but the pay is very low. He can't pay for all his bills and food. A friend tells him, You can go to the social services office. They may help you. David takes a bus to the office. He sees a sign that says, Department of Social Services. He walks in and takes a number. After waiting for 20 minutes, a woman calls. Number 27. David stands up and says, That's me. The woman smiles and says, Hi, my name is Angela. Please come with me. David follows her to a small office. She asks, "How can I help you today?" David says, "I need help. I don't make enough money. I live alone and sometimes I skip meals." Angela nods and says, "We may be able to help. Do you have ID and proof of income?" David gives her his passport and his pay stubs. Angela looks at the papers and says, "Okay, I will ask you a few questions." She asks about his job, rent, and health. David answers everything honestly. Angela says, "You may qualify for food assistance and Medicaid. We also have programs for low-income housing." David asks, "What do I need to do next?" Angela says, "I will help you fill out the application now. After that, we will review it. And you'll get a letter in the mail." David feels nervous and asks, "Will they say no?" Angela says gently, "If you qualify, you will get help. Just be honest and give us all the documents." David nods and says, "Okay. Thank you so much." Before leaving, Angela gives him a brochure. It says where to get free food, free bus passes, and low-cost clinics. David feels thankful and says, "This means a lot to me. I really needed help." Angela smiles and says, "You're welcome. We're here for people like you." Lisa goes to the city hall for her ID. Lisa moved to the U.S. last year. She needs to get a state ID so she can open a bank account. She looks online and finds that she needs to go to the city hall. She gathers her documents, passport, proof of address, and birth certificate. Then, she takes the bus to the city hall. When she arrives, she sees a sign that says City Hall Customer Service. She walks in and takes a number. She waits for about 15 minutes before her number is called. The person at the counter says, "Number 42. How can I help you?" Lisa smiles and says, "Hi, I need to get a state ID." The worker asks, "Do you have all your documents?" Lisa nods and says, "Yes, I have my passport, proof of address, and my birth certificate." The worker looks at her papers and says, "Everything seems good. Please fill out this form." Lisa takes the form and fills it out at the nearby table. When she finishes, she gives the form back to the worker. The worker asks, "Do you have a social security number?" Lisa says, "Yes, I have it. It's on my card." The worker asks her to give the number and takes a picture of Lisa. Lisa says, "How long will it take to get my ID?" The worker replies, "It usually takes about 2 weeks. You will get it in the mail." Lisa thanks the worker and asks, "What should I do if I lose my ID?" the worker says. If you lose it, you can come back here to apply for a replacement. Lisa says. Thank you very much for your help. Lisa leaves the city hall and feels happy. She knows that in a few weeks, she will have her state ID, and she can open her bank account. Maria files her taxes. Maria has been living in the U.S. for 2 years. She works as a teacher and makes a steady income. Every year, she must file her taxes, but she doesn't know how to do it. Her friend, Carlos, tells her, "You can file your taxes online, or you can go to a tax office." Maria decides to go to a tax office for help. She takes all her documents, her W-2 form, proof of income, and ID. She walks into the tax office and talks to the receptionist. The receptionist says, "Please take a seat. An accountant will help you soon." Maria waits for a few minutes before the accountant calls her name. "Maria, please come with me," the accountant says. The accountant leads Maria to a desk and says, "I will help you file your taxes. Do you have all your documents?" Maria nods and hands over her documents. The accountant starts by looking at the W-2 form. He explains. "This form shows how much money you made last year and how much tax was already taken out." Maria listens carefully and asks, "Do I need to pay more taxes?" The accountant says, "It depends on your income and how much you already paid in taxes. Let's check." He enters her information into the computer and says, "Based on what I see, you don't owe any more taxes, but you might be eligible for a refund." Maria smiles and asks, "How do I get my refund?" The accountant says, "We can deposit the refund directly into your bank account. Do you want to do that?" Maria says, "Yes, that's perfect." The accountant finishes the form and says, "You're all done. Your tax return is filed, and your refund will be sent to your account in 2 to 3 weeks. Maria feels relieved and says, "Thank you so much. This was easier than I thought." The accountant smiles and says, "You're welcome. If you need help next year, just come back." Maria thanks him again and leaves the office, happy that her taxes are done. John applies for health insurance. John moved to the U.S. recently. He knows he needs health insurance, but he doesn't know how to apply. His friend, Sarah, tells him, "You can apply for health insurance through the government website, or you can visit a local office." John decides to apply online. He goes to the website and sees the option to apply for health insurance through the Affordable Care Act, ACA. He clicks on the link and reads about the different plans. He sees that there are many options, and some plans have lower monthly payments, but higher deductibles. John decides to choose a plan with moderate payments and a lower deductible. He fills out the application form with his personal information, name, address, date of birth, and income. He also provides his social security number and proof of income. After filling out the form, he submits it and waits for the response. A few days later, John gets an email saying his application has been accepted. The email also says that his insurance plan will start next month. John is happy to have health insurance. He now knows that if he needs to go to the doctor or the hospital, his insurance will cover most of the costs. He feels more secure knowing that he has medical coverage. A few weeks later, John visits his doctor for a checkup. The doctor asks, "Do you have insurance?" John says, "Yes, I do. I just got health insurance through the Affordable Care Act." The doctor smiles and says, "That's great. Your insurance will help cover the cost of this visit." John leaves the doctor's office feeling relieved. He is grateful that he applied for insurance and is now covered in case of medical emergencies. Alex buys a used car. Alex has been living in the U.S. for a few months. He needs a car to get to work and run errands, but he doesn't have a lot of money. He decides to buy a used car because it's cheaper than a new one. He starts looking at used cars online and finds one he likes. It's a 2015 Toyota Corolla, and the price is $8,000. Alex contacts the seller and arranges to see the car. The seller says, "The car is in great condition, and it has low mileage." Alex goes to the seller's house to take a look at the car. When he sees it, the car looks clean and well maintained. Asks, "Can I take it for a test drive?" The seller says, "Of course. Let me get the keys." Alex drives the car around the block and feels that it runs smoothly. He's happy with how it drives and asks, "Has the car ever been in an accident?" The seller answers, "No, the car has never been in an accident." Alex then asks, "Do you have the car's maintenance records?" The seller says, "Yes, I have the records. I can show you." Alex looks at the records and sees that the car has been well taken care of. Now, Alex is ready to buy the car. He asks, "Can we negotiate the price a little?" The seller agrees and lowers the price to $7,500. Alex is happy with the deal and says, "I'll take it." He and the seller sign the sales contract, and Alex pays for the car. The seller gives him the keys, and Alex drives away with his new car. He feels proud and excited because now he has his own car.